Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Woodard and today I am going to be touching on some security threats that we might face in our company Rise and how we can protect or mitigate these threats. Before we get started on the security concerns within our company, I wanted to briefly mention the significance of cybersecurity. It is very important for us to have security within our company Rise so we can protect against data breaches and the exposure of our data. If hackers enter into our network or devices, they can steal valuable information. So, as we are looking into the security concerns within our company, we need to be intentional on having good cybersecurity practices. Next, I wanted to talk about the top 3 threats associated with our IoT device. These top 3 threats include passwords, updates, and user privacy concerns. First, regarding passwords, with weak or no passwords, attackers can gain access to our IoT device's data very easily. So to mitigate this, we need to implement strong complex passwords with at least 8 characters that include numbers, capital letters, and symbols. Next, we have updates. Attackers can gain unauthorized access to data more easily with outdated software. To mitigate this, it is significant to regularly update the system software when the updates are released. Lastly, we have user privacy concerns. So IoT devices come with terms of service. So without reading the terms of service, we sometimes agree to letting our data be shared and sold to third parties. To mitigate this threat, we need to read the terms of service and understand what we are agreeing to in order to protect our data from being shared. It is also very important to filter through privacy settings and change them appropriately. Next, I wanted to talk about the threats with smartphone devices in our company. The top 3 threats here are phishing, spyware, and exploitation of mobile device management. So first, with phishing, these are essentially fake emails or messages requesting personal information. Oftentimes there's a link they would like you to click. So to mitigate this, the best thing to do is to not share any personal information unless you are 100% sure the message or email is real, and if you are unsure, you can always ask IT. So next we have spyware. Spyware is a software that allows hackers to steal and obtain personal information about an individual. So the best way to combat spyware is through antivirus software or scans and regularly updating your smartphone software. So lastly, we have exploitation of mobile device management. And this is going to give the company control and security over company issued devices. However, if mobile device management is penetrated, then the data from the smartphones can be exposed. So the best way to mitigate this is to update the phone regularly and keep personal information off the company issued device. It is important to look at these security concerns regarding mobile apps as we are creating a mobile app for our IoT device. So the top 3 threats include encryption, third-party APIs, and unsafe significant data storage. So first, with weak encryption, encryption is essentially scrambling data to make it unreadable to unauthorized users. Without this, attackers can gain access to important information. And to mitigate this, we need to implement strong encryption, such as advanced encryption standard or Wi-Fi protected access 2 or 3 encryption. Next, we have third-party APIs. These are application programming interfaces where important information and data is shared. If a hacker gains access to this data, they would be stealing very valuable data. So the best way to protect these APIs is through authentication and security policies and standards. Lastly, we have unsafe significant data storage. So many mobile app developers store data locally without encryption, leaving that data vulnerable. So the best way to avoid this is to have strong encryption with stored data so we do not lose employees or users' personal information. Now let's talk about the top 3 threats regarding Wi-Fi networks. These top 3 threats include piggybacking, evil twin attack, and denial of service attack. So piggybacking is essentially connecting to a company's network and stealing their data. And you can connect to a company's network indoors up to 150 to 350 feet and outside up to 1,000 feet. That is the range. And so to mitigate this, we really need to secure our Wi-Fi network and create a strong password. So next we have the evil twin attack. This is when an attacker sets up a wireless access point that mocks the company's network. And so it's going to basically trick the employee to joining that network and then steal their information. So to mitigate this, we can use a VPN, which is a virtual private network. And another good practice is to not log into private accounts on public Wi-Fi. Lastly, we have the denial of service attack, and this is where an attacker sends a network an overload of information, causing that network to crash. And so to mitigate this, we can break the network into smaller segments and disperse the data and web traffic over many servers, and this is called segmenting and balancing. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the bring your own device policy. The top 3 threats associated with this policy are data leakage, malicious apps, and the inability to control devices. Data leakage is essentially when our personal devices are stolen or lost, and this can lead to data being stolen or exposed from the company. So to protect against data leakage, we can use a VPN or file integrity monitoring, which will notify our IT department once spyware or malware is detected on the device. Next, we have malicious apps. So employees can download any app on their device, and some of them can be harmful. Some apps can take control of a user's device and take personal information. So to mitigate this, we need to train our employees on avoiding malicious apps. Lastly, we have the inability to control devices. And if an employee is terminated with the bring your own device policy, that employee would still have access to information that could be used to harm the company. So to mitigate this, we need to use company issued devices with mobile device management to give the company authority to revoke access to the company's data from that employee. To wrap things up, we have learned how to implement some good security practices and how to create a safe environment for our company. To close, I wanted to revisit the bring your own device policy and suggest that we move into company issued devices. I know we are trying to control costs. However, I think the risks associated with the bring your own device policy are worth paying for company issued devices. This will create an even safer environment for our RISE employees. Thank you all for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.